We are at coming up on 1400 Taylor Street, and this is my sculpture Busted Plug, which is 40 feet tall. I had it made in 2000 and 2001. When you drive into the parking lot, these bells start playing. Okay, let's walk over this way then. I worked with two architects on this project. They didn't make much of a contribution, but I would check things. I'd run things by them before I did it. And this, there's a term for this shape of this thing here. It's called chevron. That's a chevron shape. And the chevron barricade is made out of, that's called a jersey barricade. We brought these jersey barricades in here, put them around the thing to act as protective barrier so people wouldn't be actually running into it. And then the bank was still worried that they didn't want anybody going into the fountain. They didn't want anybody to go in there and drown. The bank, what is it called? Ag First Bank. See that sign? That's to tell the public that don't bring any big dogs over here that are going to pee on the fire hydrant.
You're so funny.
And so the bank was still worried that even though there's a barricade here, that people were going to go in there and drown. So we had to put the fence up. They wanted to put a full-size fence, and I said, well, wait a minute, you get too carried away with all this. Let's just put some red lights up here and some little bit of fence, and then to make it hard for anybody to get from here to there, this is called a riprap, granite riprap. You usually see this around dams and things like that. And this is where the water came out down here. And the water, in my design, the water would come out and shoot 50 feet in there and come down over there in a basin and then be recirculated. They didn't want to do that. No, can't do that. So the pump in there will shoot water 50 feet up in the air. They ran the water like this, not that high, like blub, blub, blub.
I love it. It's my favorite. It really is.
And so the water sitting down there, blub, 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 which didn't make a lick of sense. With the idea is the plug is busted and the water shooting in the air, you know.
Well, there's a drain thing there.
Yeah, so it could drain. And there's a huge concrete cauldron underneath this thing that holds 10,000 gallons of water. And so
That's fabulous.
it's made out of, that material there is aluminum coated steel. That process was engineered by American Steel Company, who fabricated this thing under my supervision. American Aluminum and Steel. See their names on the side there? See in the little print on there?
I do see it, but I'll never get that.
That's the company that made that. And
Yeah. Wow.
I personally built the chain here. And
I love it.
there's a ladder inside, and you can crawl all the way up to the top up there. And up in the top, we got a control panel with. It had a. If you look at this side over here, the other side, come back over here. You see up at the very top up there, it's kind of blackened and it's kind of jagged, like the edge. There was a wire that ran from back over there across over to there. And the wire appeared to be touching the fire hydrant. And at night, it looked like electric sparks, sparking.
Oh,
And it was done with strobe lights. I got a dozen strobe lights mounted up there. And then the top of it would start glowing red, like it was red hot. And a lot of people called the fire department and said, "That fire thing's on fire."
that's so creative. You're the most creative person I know.
See, I did everything I could to make it look like that whatever struck the fire hydrant. These steel poles here are called ballards, and I made it look like they've been knocked down, you know, and it looks like the hydrant's been pushed back this way and you can see it's like that.
That's amazing. It's just amazing.
Come up here and let's do a close up of this piece of chain here. This is solid.
That's just amazing.
It's 40 feet tall and weighs 675,000 pounds. If you take the whole thing, everything is here, 675,000 pounds.
So cool. Are you done?
Yeah.
All right, it's filming.
Show me first. Show me being here. The riprap, the big granite stones, are to keep people from trying to go in there and mess with anything. Because it'd be very hard to walk across that. And the pipes down there look like they've been ripped out of the ground when the fire hydrant was knocked over. Went to a lot of trouble to make those things the way these ballards are knocked back to make it look like there was some kind of violent action. Look at the big bolts up there. Love those big bolts. The chain on Main Street was done 1 year before this. While this project was cooking, I did the chain. So this was done, this project was unveiled, I think it was in February of 2001. And I'll tell you something, this country changed after 2001. You know, it was a grim event, and something as lighthearted as this seemed foolish, you know. It was foolish enough before, but then after 2001, this country went into a blue funk mood for about a year, and it was not the right time to unveil a silly thing like this with the big 50-foot dog. And
Talk about that.
and then, okay, I said, well, we got this great fountain right here. Why don't you turn the water on? And they keep the water just dribbling down at the bottom. And the reason we put this anemometer, that's that thing you see right there sticking out the side. That's an anemometer, which it measures the wind velocity. And when the wind velocity gets over like 20 miles an hour, it shuts off the pump in the hydrant. So if the hydrant is sitting here and the fountain is shooting water up in the air, and it got really windy, and the wind was going to blow the spray back on the cars in the parking lot, the anemometer would shut it off. See, we had thought of everything. But they still wouldn't turn the volume up in the water. And then finally, they just, after they turned it down lower and lower and lower, they just finally turned it off completely.
It's too bad. What a beautiful thing that is. I love it.
And I've got a key to that gate right there. See that gate? Show the gate right there. See this gate? Come on, let's look at it. Looks like somebody's tried to force that. This gate allows you to enter. I just go right over the gate. Anyway, you can go in that door there and walk inside, and there's a control panel with all these switches on it and everything. And then there's a ladder that goes all the way from the top to the bottom up there. And that's where I had all my lights and the electrical wiring and everything. So when it needed any kind of maintenance, you have to go up and then crawl up to the top.
All right. That's it.